Hi, I'm Paul Vandermeer and I'm here to take you through the Interactive Knowledge Fuel Planner. Interactive Knowledge Fuel Planners are the fast and easy way to plan where, when and how much fuel you need during a rally. When you first open the spreadsheet, you'll find a page of instructions. At the bottom you'll find a link to send me feedback and a link to the video. To get started, click onto the Details page. Click into the team name green cell and type in the details. You can use the tab key to move from one green cell to the next. When you get to the driver and co-driver's names, these will appear on every page. The refueler team leader names, these will appear later on and you'll get to select these from a list. The make, model and year of the car will also appear on every page. The details for registration, engine, power, gear ratios and tyres are all there for your information in the future. Enter a car number. The fuel type, if you're using a particular type of fuel, you can enter that in here. The in competition value shows how many kilometres you'll travel for every 1 litre of fuel. It's converted to litres per 100 kilometres an hour automatically in the next cell, and if you change the values, the summaries will update to let you know exactly how much fuel you need for each leg, reserve and the entire event. The 7 kilometres per litre shown here for between the stages, that's our liaison value. In this case we have a 55 litre fuel tank. If you have a different value, just type it in. And here we're using a recommended reserve value of 15 litres. That means the fuel planner will ensure you have 15 litres in the tank at all times. If it shows less than 15 litres, you'll see a warning telling you need more fuel. To continue, click onto the first day of competition, in this case Thursday. To set up the fuel planner, we start with the car at the workshop or at your home base. Let's just say it has 15 litres of fuel. We'll hit tab. We know that from our workshop to our refuel location is 2 kilometres. When we get to the refuel station, you'll see that we're in a low fuel state, so we need to put in enough fuel. Down the bottom here you'll see you need 10.3 litres for the day. That doesn't factor in getting to Forest Place and back home at the end of the day. So what we'll do is we'll put in a little bit extra fuel, let's say 15 litres. And to get us to Forest Place we need to know that distance. For our example we'll use 23 kilometres. It is possible to record putting fuel in at these other green boxes. At the end of the day, the distance from the RAC driving centre to our home, for our example, we'll call it 27 kilometres. You'll see we end up with a little bit below 15 litres of fuel. We also have another 2 kilometres to cover from our refuel point to our workshop. We can adjust how much fuel we've got in there. Let's put in 16 litres and hit tab. Not enough yet, we're still 13, so we need another 2 litres. And 1 more litre. So we started with 15, we drove 2 kilometres to the servo, we put 18 litres in, and that got us to the end of the day with 15 litres just above our reserve in the car. Total of 33 litres. To carry on to the next day, This 15.2 will carry over to Friday. On Friday, again, we have 2 kilometres from our workshop to the refuel point, and from our refuel point to the tennis centre, for our example, we'll use 19 kilometres. At the end of the day, we've got our North Bridge to refuel distance, and for our example, we'll use 22 kilometres, and again 2 kilometres from our evening refuel point to our end of day stop. Now you'll see here we actually will need some fuel, so at this point let's fill the tank up. Let's do an equal sign. Our tank is 55 litres and we will subtract 14.9 litres. You see here we've filled the car up, taken 40.1 litres, and it's got us enough fuel to get to the end of Kalamunda 2 stage. When I hover over Kalamunda 2, there's a little marker that tells me there's a comment, and the comment shows me 2 fuel options. In this case, we're going to have our service crew refuel using our own fuel, and that's 5.6 kilometres from the end of the stage. We just pop in 5.6 kilometres there. Now what you'll see is this 33 will reduce. We've not added any distance to the event, we've just changed the ratio. There we're at 16 litres and we're at 2.2, so we're going to be about 18 litres short at the end of the day. That'll get us back to our workshop at the end of the day with 15.7 litres in the tank. That 15.7 will carry over into Saturday morning. Same arrangement, we have 2 kilometres from our workshop to the refuel. From the refuel to the State Tennis Centre we're using 19 kilometres. We have the same thing at the end of our day. Let's put them in straight away. So 19 kilometres from the State Tennis Centre to our refuel, and then 2 from our refuel back to our workshop. So we're going to need fuel in the morning, and we've got quite a busy day, so let's fill it up again. Let's do equals 55 litres minus 15.4 litres. So fill the car up. That's enough to get us through all of these stages and through to service D. Now you see service D, there are 2 refuel locations noted here. Let's use RZ5, the refuel zone 5 in the roadbook, at 0.32 kilometres. So I'll click in here, we'll type in 0.32. Again, this 3.89 will be reduced by 0.32. I'll click in the cell over here, and we've got 16.5 litres in the tank. Let's fill it up again, equal to 55 minus 16.5. That got us enough fuel to get to the start of Bullsbrook Long without going below our reserve value. Now during the event they have this refuel zone 6 after service E, and we also have the choice of the refuel zone at the end of Timberden Reverse. So let's use this zone here at 27.68 kilometres. 27.68. You'll see the 44 will reduce. We've not added any fuel. We've got 25 litres in the tank. We're going to be about 10.2 litres too low, so we're going to need in the region of 25-26 litres to get us to the end of the day. So at the end of the day we'll have 15.8 litres in the car. When we move across to Sunday, we'll need to put in our distances to get from our workshop to the refuel, and from refuel to the State Tennis Centre we're using 19 as our example here. At the end of the day you've got the final 2 kilometres to get from the refuel to the workshop, and you need to get from the Killarney City of Perth stage to our refuel area. For our example we'll use 24 kilometres. So we're going to need to put some fuel in. We could fill the car up if we wanted to. That would be equals 55 minus 15.5 enter, and that'll finish the day with 17.2 litres in the car, doing all the stages and getting back to our home base. Once we have those values in, you move across to the schedule. You'll find how much fuel we need to add at each location appears in the cell. Select from the drop-down list the person who's going to be responsible for putting the fuel in. You'll want to run through the entire event. So now we have someone allocated to each refuel location. After the event, we can actually fill in, or have the crew fill in at the time, just how much fuel they put into the car. And you might make a comment about the refuel. Something like, if it filled up using less fuel, then you can see that you actually didn't experience the fuel usage rate that you expected. The schedule minimal page, you actually need to refresh these. You can right click and do refresh data. You need to click yes. You need to do that for each day. And that gives you only the places that you will refuel on the day, and that'll print out on a single page. This is a great summary that gives you the entire event on one page and only shows the important points. The Changes tab, if I publish a new version of the fuel planner, there'll be an explanation in here of just what I've changed. So you can determine if you need to redo your calculations or not. When we go back to the details page, you'll notice that the amount of fuel you need has increased. That's because we put extra distance in for the travel to and from the start each day. So that's the extra fuel that you need. And you'll notice that we have 234.7 litres here. That's 2.2 litres more than we started the event with. So we ended up with 17.2 litres in the car, and we started with 15 litres, difference being 2.2. We've just taken you through the essential run through of features in the spreadsheet. You do have a few more options along the way. You may notice down the left hand side here you have the S in the yellow box and you have a green cell. You can use the green cells to add or subtract distance to this value. As an example, after service D, you have the RZ5 refuel which we used earlier. However, if we wanted to use the Caltex, it's 120 metres past the turnoff into Hammersley Street in the road book. So to use the Caltex, what we do is we use 1.3 kilometres as our distance. Then we click into the green box over here and we add 0.24 kilometres, so 240 metres. So just type in 0.24 and hit tab or enter. Doesn't look like much, but it has actually added that distance into this value here. So these green boxes allow you to add, and you can subtract from those as well. The S indicates that this is a special stage. The special stages use the competition fuel use rate. If we remove the S by deleting, you'll see that the coloration goes away and the fuel use rate goes to the liaison value. If you put the S back in, it goes back to a stage with the colour and the competition fuel use rate. This way, if a stage happens to be cancelled for any reason, it's possible to recalculate your fuel requirements provided you're driving the same distance. If you're driving a different distance, then you can use the green box to add or remove that distance. Thank you very much for your interest in the Interactive Knowledge Fuel Planner, the fast and easy way to plan where, when and how much fuel you need during a rally.